Welcome to Look Around the Confederation, where we never, ever, ever fix our intro. I'm your host for the evening, Moose. And before we get started this evening, please remember our disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor Divisions Brigade camps or any other subsidiaries. How is everybody doing in Dixieland tonight? We have a great episode for y'all, talking about, of course, just the news that's been going around, a couple of events that went on this past weekend, and many other cool things that I can't wait to get to talk about, and a couple of things coming from our headquarters. So we got a great show for y'all planned. It's just going to be me tonight. We were going to try to get Connor on, but sadly he's not feeling too well. Bless his heart. We are all kind of tired after this past weekend. We had a very, very busy day in the reunion in the Mississippi Division. Got Jude in the chat. Good to see you. Got JD in the chat. We got Pest Commander-in-Chief, the Lone Ranger, Chuck McMichael in the chat. We have our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy in the chat. Mr. Johns in the chat. Got some news from him. Thank you, sir. Got some. We got Jack in the chat. Got Al in the chat from Tennessee. Good to see you, sir. Got Steven from the Raphael Sims Camp 1321 in the chat in Michigan. Bless y'all's heart. Y'all are right in enemy lines. But we got a lot of good people checking in. Mr. John, of course, is from the same division. It's good to see everybody. It's good to see everybody. All right. We got a good bit of news. And again, when it's just me, you guys already know it's going to take a little bit to get the pictures and everything on the screen. But before we get started, one of our events that we were broadcasting and talking about is not going to happen anymore. And this is the Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp 1308's event. Something happened. Their Polk Salad Festival we talked about. It is going to be on May 13th. And I think the problem with that is that coincides with Louisiana Division's reunion. So, of course, they have to go and handle the division's business. They won't be able to hold that event that day. But we definitely understand. It has happened to me a couple times with events. So I completely understand. Gentlemen, we got the Kentucky Division Commander and Adjutant in the chat. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Sorry, I've been working on the farm the past couple hours, and my throat is dry, and I'm dead. But it was a good day out on Dixie Farms for me. Ooh. All right. We can go ahead and get into the news. And, of course, we ask that you please share this out. Of course, we got Camp 703 in the chat. We have our Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, Walter D. Donnie Kennedy in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Ooh. All right, let's get started with the news. And, of course, we're going to start with some big news. The Georgia Division's Stone Mountain event, of course, a big event happening this weekend in a couple days' time. The Georgia Division of the SCV will be hosting the 20th Annual National Confederate Memorial Day service at Stone Mountain. The service will be at the base of the mountain with a carving overhead. The service is on Saturday, April 29th at 10 a.m. Music will be played from the bluegrass group Jubilee. At 11 a.m., a cookout will be provided by the Georgia Division, and the service will start shortly thereafter at 11:45 and end at 1 p.m. All SCV members, their friends, and family are more than welcome to attend. And, of course, the keynote speaker for this event is Pastor John Weaver. And now, I did want to note, I saw it. Don't know. Sorry. I don't know if exactly I'm supposed to be saying this, but, there is some of our enemies are trying to disturb the event. So I'm asking for calm heads and, of course, for us to show out. If you can, you need to be there. No excuses. I would love to be there, but I have a camp event, or I would be there. So please, on April 29th, show up for the National Confederate Memorial Day at Stone Mountain. And let's show our enemies who we really are, people. That we're all about our ancestors, and that's who we care about. we put them first. So please go out and support if you can. All right. Jude says he'll be there and he'll be live streaming for Monument Across Dixie. For those who cannot be there, of course, with the SCV chat crew not going to be able to be there, please, I ask that you tune in for Monuments Across Dixie's stream. We will try our best to get it shared on our platforms and to have it out there. Our Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief is trying to get me to spray water all over my new laptop. Thank you for that, sir. Our Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief says it's outside, so we may need bug spray to keep the pest away. I say that can be taken as two ways, sir. But again, calm heads prevail. A temper will only get us set back. So again, come up there with a cool head and ready to represent your ancestors. Don't tarnish that. We have a great responsibility on our shoulders, blessed responsibility that they paid the price for. So make sure when you go there, you honor. And again, let's show out, people. Some other news I just thought about saying, if you haven't seen the post yet, our website is down for a minute, scvchat.com. Nothing to worry about. I'm just doing a bit of maintenance on it. Had to take it down for that. But hopefully it'll be a lot easier for people to sign up for the website. And, of course, everything that goes along with that. So just patient. It'll be back up by this weekend, hopefully. Of course, people who know that there was a problem for people trying to sign up for the events and the news page. And I tried to fix it with it still up, and it just was not working. So I'm going to, I took it down for a bit, and I've been working on it in my spare time today, and it should be up again tomorrow or at the latest Saturday. But I just want to let you all know that. Yes, and this is from our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Candy. He says, at Stone Mountain, all attendees, please remember that the left always tries to place agents to provoke stuff at our meeting. Do not take the bait. Do not say something stupid. Don't just enjoy the event. Sit back, relax, because I've been there. And they try to trick you up, and you don't think you're being tricked until it's too late. So, just point them to a national officer and tell them to have a great day. That's part of the joys of being a national officer is you get the headaches of all this. Isn't that right? All our national officers in the chat that I just put that on. You're welcome. All right, going on to the next bit of news. I'm going to get a text after the show now. SCV Camp number 152 will have their Confederate History Month on Saturday, April 9th at 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. It is in Tennessee. Of course, if you can make it again, please do. And as always, I can't see the poster very well when it's up on my screen. And so, again, if you can't see it as well, I think it's better on y'all screen if I'm remembering correctly. It will. All posters you send in will be posted on the SCV Chat Facebook page after the live stream. So if you can't see an event that you would like to go to, please contact us and we'll get you the information. Past Commander-in-Chief said it's what they live for. Charles LeRay's in the chat. Howdy, sir. I have good things to say about you in the future in this episode. Jude says they went that he went last year and just didn't engage them at all. Yeah, just sit back and enjoy the event. There's no need to get in all that. All right. Going on to our next bit of news from Florida. They also have an event going on. Let me see here. This is from the Lieutenant F.C.M. Bogues Camp 2150. This, of course, sent in by their adjutant, Mr. Sean. Mr. Sean, of course, is the host of Look Around Florida, and he does an outstanding job. This event, again, will be Saturday, April 29th at 10 a.m. A lot of great camps involved there, reenactors. So, you already know it's going to be a great event. Congratulations, gentlemen. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, there it is. All right, the Private William Riley Milton Camp of 741, Florida. June 13th, they asked you to come to a couple of their meetings. They got some great guest speakers that you can hear from on June 13th. Donna Faulkner Barron, the daughter of the carver of Stone Mountain. Again, go to Stone Mountain. And of course, on July 11th, you can hear from the historian in chief of the SCV, Forrest S. Dawes, also known as my father by some. Those camps are Victor's camp always has great events and always has great camp meetings. So if you can attend, please do. Steven says that the Confederate Memorial up here in Michigan will also be on the 29th for those interested. So again, if you are close to one of these events, go support it. This month is a big month for us, and it's very important to show out these months. And I have been pleased to see a lot of good turnout at events this year. But just show up, support the cause, support your SCV division, support your SCV camp, support your SCV brigade, anything really. I call them sir too. I was raised in Southern Mississippi. Yes, sir, and no, sir. We even text it. I remember when I first got a phone, and no one sirs or ma'ams over the phone. And it was so wired in my brain from how I was raised that I think I just randomly started doing it to my father one day. And I just haven't looked back since because it just feels weird because he would be like, "Do you want this?" And I just said, "Yes." And it just didn't feel right. So I started adding "yes, sir" via text message. That's how Southern I am. Our commander-in-chief, Jason Bosiers, is in the chat. He says he just got here. A lot of positive things going on here at the headquarters. Well, sir, hopefully we can talk. We'll be talking about all that soon. Speaking of the Maryland Division, we do have some news from them. Let me find it. There we are. The Lieutenant Colonel Robert H. Archer Camp 2013 of the Maryland Division sponsored a Confederate Cross of Honor dedication for Private Harry M. Richard of the 2nd Maryland Light Artillery CSA. Let's see here. Let me move my notes. It was on April the 23rd at Roman Catholic Church in Hickory, Maryland. The dedication was attended by more than 50 people, including the Maryland Division Commander Terry, Archer Camp Commander William, let's see here, the Glenmore Camp Commander Rocky, and UDC President, let's see here. Sometimes my notes don't work with me here, folks, especially when we have to do the scrolling at the bottom. We're just going to wait for it to catch up to me. I got ahead of it. Don't you just love Look Around? Something always happens. And UDC President Miss Lucy of the Hartford Camp Chapter 113 of the Maryland Division of the UDC. Glad to see y'all had a great event. Always, of course, great to hear from the Maryland Division. Y'all are fighting the cause behind enemy lines. Bless your heart. And y'all already always do something great. And I am honored to have a blessing in my life of being able to report the news of the SCV. We got Army of Tennessee Commander of the Army of Tennessee. I'll get it out. Jimmy Hill in the chat. Good evening, sir. Hey guys, I'm one. Hey guys, I'm one. Hey, great, Mr. Sean. Great. I'll put that up there. For those who don't know, the National SCV is twirling, or I think the Confederate Legion is working with one-click politics, and Mr. Sean says it works. Again, it does work. You just have to get involved, people. And we know you hear that probably a good bit, but let me look for my words here. It's always important to stay involved. I've seen it and I have felt it. Sometimes you're burned out. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes you forget. Sometimes life is just throwing you a lot of curveballs. But that one-click politics is really nice for people who are busy. I know when they first came out with it, all you had to do was click on it, and it basically handled a good bit for you. So it made it a whole lot easier for us here in the SCV to get behind what we're trying to get accomplished here. And I'm excited. I cannot wait to see what else we have in store. Tune in for Commander's Comments the first Thursday of every month to figure out what National is doing. All right, moving on to the next bit of news. I believe we're going back to Florida. Yes, we are. Let's see here. There you are. On April 26th, Confederate Memorial Day in Florida, Camp 1865 hosted Confederate Memorial Day program. Florida 2nd Lieutenant Division Commander, I'm presuming, Daryl was there. 8th Brigade Commander Terry was also there. They also wanted to give a shout out to, as well as the camp commanders of Camp 730, 1861, 1865, and 741, along with 2 UDC chapters. Around 40 people attended the event and the following barbecue dinner. It was a great day to remember our ancestors. The monument is in Ocala, Florida, and is the only Confederate monument in that county for the veterans. I'm glad to see that y'all had a great event, Victor. Again, great to see Florida always has a knock out of the park and a lot of barbecues I'm starting to notice. But I'm glad y'all had a great day. I'm glad that y'all had a great day honoring your ancestors. And I hope to see more from y'all very, very soon. And again, here's our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy. He always says it best. Thank you, Mr. Ron. He says one-click politics works for state legislators as well as national Congress. So again, this is a gateway to help us get started into a whole lot more things, and we can't thank y'all for getting it started. So thank you, sir. We have past Commander-in-Chief Paul Gramlin Jr. in the chat. The legend is in the chat, people. Good to see you. The most sharp-dressed man in the SCV. If you ever feel like you could rival him, you are greatly mistaken. It's good to see you, Commander. All right, moving on to the next bit of news. This one I know a bit about. The Samuel H. Poe Camp 255 in Wayne County, Mississippi, held their annual Confederate Memorial Day service this past Sunday at the Confederate Monument in Shibuya Cemetery. Camp Commander Forrest S. Dawes delivered a message before everyone observed a moment of silence and a prayer. We had a great day. My camp always has a great time going to that Shibuya Monument. That monument has a close place to our hearts. And it's good to see that we use the SERP method to give it a nice, good cleaning and to start more of our cemetery projects. So, again, we had a great day that day. And I cannot thank our camp commander enough, my father, for getting the event, or planning the event and making sure it was always a great one like it is. So, thank you, Commander. All right, let's see here. I mean, Commander Gramlin, you are the most sharp-dressed man in the SCV. There's no doubt. If we ever make that into an award, I don't know how we could go about doing that. I have to read the Constitution. If we would have to have the Paul Gramlin rule, because you would win it every year if we don't. That's how good you are. All right. Got a bit more news coming out of Tennessee. On April 22nd, the Longstreet Camp 87 had a CERT training day, and they trained 10 new students. Congratulations. Always good to see the CERT program growing. They cleaned many stones. They cleaned legendary comedian Archie Campbell, famous classic Yeehaw TV show, and from the famous classic TV show Yeehaw, and Zolifer H. Ooh. That's an interesting one. This has to happen at least once, doesn't it? I was this close of getting through all the news, and it happened. Zurch Sturching. We're going to go with that. He is an infant son of the. Let me see if I can get it out. I'm sorry. He is an infant son of the Zolifer Camp 746 and UDC member of Sturchie of Company E, Carter 1st Tennessee Cavalry. Sorry, my eyes aren't working. But we want to thank y'all for doing that again. The CERT program is extremely important. I'm glad to see that y'all are doing it. Thank you, David, for doing that. Thank you for sending me the news as well. I love the CERT program. I love the fact that it's starting to really take off, and I'm glad to see that y'all are keeping it alive up there in Tennessee, which Tennessee probably has the most CERT training classes, I think, off the top of my head. I would have to go back and look through the news, of course. Paul says he could be the judge of the award of who wins the most sharp-dressed man in the SCV, because it would just be unfair if Commander Gremlin got to participate. He would just win all the time. Let's see. Our Chief of Heritage Operations and our past Commander-in-Chief are having a fun time in the chat. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you, David. FP Stretchy was probably a charter member of one of the original UDC camps here in Knoxville, Tennessee. That is awesome. That's good to hear. David, I've seen clips of Yeehaw. I've watched a couple of it, but I haven't watched like full episodes or anything like that. It's a smidge before my time, and I can't find it online. I tried finding it, but all I could find is clips. Jude says he does his best to have good competition. I know you do, Jude, and thank you for that. Good, healthy competition is always a good thing. Our Commander-in-Chief says that Paul Gremlin is Captain Red Shoes. He can tell you the story later. Well, I know what's happening next time I come up to National. I'm about to need to hear that story. All right. So we're going to go dive in some news from National. This was submitted to me a bit before we went live. So forgive me as I try to get my notes up. Let me put the first picture up. This is, of course, a painting of the fighting bishop, Leonardus Polk, and has been on loan to the National Confederate Museum since 2019. The loan has expired, and it will be returning to the loaner, which is the University of the South. I want to thank the University of the South for their generous loan. If you wish to see this beautiful portrait painting, please make plans to visit the National Confederate Museum very, very soon. Of course, that is from our Commander-in-Chief, Jason Boseers. I would make plans, maybe, just maybe, to make it up to the pilgrimage on May 6th. Actually, let's see here. Everybody's telling me places I can go watch Yeehaw. Thank you. David says y'all headed to Beauvoir Friday. I'm a little partial on Beauvoir. I'm wearing a Beauvoir shirt, and we'll be talking about Beauvoir's Confederate Memorial Day event a bit later in the show. But I don't see a better way you could spend a Friday. I hope to be visiting again soon. Get you some Yeehaw episodes in tonight. I will try my best, Tony. I will try my best. Thank y'all for telling me where to find them. All right. Dick Nab. All right, moving on to the next bit of news. We got some good news here. A 105-year-old Robert E. Lee statue that was outside of a Robert E. Lee High School in Alabama has been brought to the National Confederate Museum on loan. Here's just a couple of pictures here, of course, of them taking it in. There's the monument. It was a bit damaged, but if I understood the commander-in-chief correctly, it is restored now and is going to find a lovely home here at our Confederate Museum. Of course, look at all these lovely pictures of it. I, of course, am a big Robert E. Lee fan, so I will be taking my picture beside it next time I see it. We want to give a special thanks to a Mr. J. Hilton for making all this possible, of course. Great to see that. Great to see the museum always getting new things. And again, I can't say much. I love Robert E. Lee. He set an example that every man should look at to follow. And I will believe that till the day you put me in the Mississippi dirt. I do want to get on my soapbox for a smidge of a second, though. I saw this earlier, and I'm not going to call anybody out. That's not who I am. But I will say, you need, how do I want to word this? There was shockingly a negative thing about this. And I wanted to address it for one reason, because I just don't understand it. It is a National Confederate Museum, first off. I mean, what would you want to happen to it? We are having the opportunity to get this to us on loan. It's 105 years old. It is a monument to one of our greatest heroes. And you're just going to use it to talk about how you don't like the museum. Don't make sense to me. The museum is absolutely breathtaking. Thanks to Army of Tennessee Commander Jimmy Hill and everybody else involved, the museum is turning out beautifully. Everything we imagined it could be. Every time I go up there, and every time I get the chance to go up there, I often spend a bit of time just in the museum enjoying it, soaking it in. Because that is our Confederate Museum. There's not... The reason that we made SCV Chat is because there's not any news sources that will treat us with respect. Hence why we get out national, division, camp, brigade, army news all the time and give you regular Southern programming. It's because we felt the need to, because there's no news sources that did that for us. There's nothing that you could go to for what we try to provide here. Nothing. Fox isn't going to give it to us. And now we see a thing in our culture today where our heritage is under attack more than ever. I truly do believe that. I think this is probably the worst we've ever seen it in the South, probably since a certain time period after the war. And it is not just you can't celebrate your Confederate heritage, is that we must destroy it and make sure that it never sees the light of day again, so that your descendants don't even have the opportunity to honor or know their ancestors. And so the National SCV saw this, and they decided to make a museum that tells the real story, the real story of the South. What's not to love? It is not an empty building anymore after it just got built. It takes time to build greatness. And greatness it has turned into being, and it's only going to get greater. I'm not blasting this particular person. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in trying to split people up in this organization. We are Southern Brotherhood. But I'm just going to say my opinion on it. And if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to ban you from the page. I'm not going to trash talk you verbally. The only reason I brought this up is because I've seen it way too many times, and sometimes I see details that are thrown in there that's just simply untrue, lies. And I don't think they're meaning to lie. I'm not attacking anybody's character. but I think they've been just misinformed. And that goes for this whole country and the South in general right now. They're just being misinformed. So I had to get on my preaching box there. And as our commander-in-chief said it best, we can disagree without being disagreeable. We can disagree and still be a band of Southern brothers. We can disagree and still work for the cause. There's no reason to ever tear down a brother. And that's, again, I wasn't trying to do that. I just wanted to get on my preaching box for a minute, really. And yeah, sadly, this isn't the first time. This isn't going to be the last time. But I just felt after I saw that I had to talk on that. So I hope you don't mind me getting on my preaching box there for a minute. It is my one per season. Me and GCB always have to get on our preacher box at least once a season, maybe twice. And that was mine for this year. And of course, our Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief says it perfectly. The museum gives the SCV a chance to go national to recruit and educate folks. Sounds pretty great to me. All right, I'm going to move on from that. It really bothered me. And I'm going to get back on topic real quickly. We do have some added information on this Lee Monument that I would really love to talk about. First, from our Army of Tennessee Commander Jimmy Hill, that he said the Lee Monument will be returning to Alabama and will be installed in Lee County. If the Robert E. Lee Camp 16 did not rescue this monument, it would have been destroyed, and the camp had it restored and is taking donations to help offset the cost. So first off, I know this camp. They are a very active camp, and I'm blessed to know them. I love the members involved in that camp. They come on the show every now and then, and we talk. If you can go help the Robert E. Lee Camp 16, they would very much appreciate it, as well as me, as well as everybody that fights for this cause. So please go support the Robert E. Lee Camp 16. Go support our National Confederate Museum. All right, we got Commander-in-Chief Jason Bosiers in here next. If you're coming to the Homecoming and Pilgrimage on May 6th, you can see the Leonidas Polk painting, the Robert E. Lee statue, and some artifacts that will be on loan from the Tennessee State Museum. A lot of great things happening. I can't wait to come up there, Commander, and see all the great things y'all have done in the museum. And, of course, take my picture by that Robert E. Lee statue. Commander, we might have you come on, look around next week if you can, and talk about the pilgrimage. But you might talk about that in Commander's comments, so I'd be no mean try to steal that from you and Ron's topics. Chuck, you just described. Oh, gosh. Yes. I'm not going to talk about that. Yes, constructive criticism does provide us with an opportunity to recheck our plans and actions. And I completely agree with that. It's okay to have a disagreement. I just I have a pet peeve about it being done on social media. Just how I am. All right. Now that we got my preaching box out of the way, please make sure to go and support this monument. It is absolutely beautiful. Go support the Robert E. Lee Camp 16 for restoring it and getting it up here for us. It's on loan, so it's only going to be up there for a limited time, people. So make sure to come out and support it, especially come out and support it on May 6th on the pilgrimage. The Homecoming and Pilgrimage is a fantastic event that never, ever disappoints. And so I'm always happy to talk about it and always happy to broadcast it live. It is truly one of my favorite events I look forward to every year. And it is a homecoming. It is when we all can get together, visit, talk. So if you have the free time, and I already talked about this with Georgia, please try to come out and support us May 6th at the Pilgrimage and Homecoming. All right. Hey, we got some other great news from the Commander-in-Chief. The QR codes are working. Yesterday, I saw someone return to their vehicle to get their phone while it was charging to use the scan QR codes. That is awesome. We're fighting the narrative one day at a time, one step at a time. It's going to be a long fight. We're in it, folks. We're in it for the long haul. And I couldn't think of anybody else better to fight beside. All right, we're going to take a quick, let me find everything, Pop-Tart break. And we'll come back and we'll finish it up with some news. I'll be talking about the Confederate Memorial Day event at Beauvoir. And when we come back, we'll just enjoy ourselves and have a good time. But let me get our sponsorship ready while we are doing that. That won't work. There it goes. All right, almost done. All right, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who our sponsor is here. But just in case you did not know, we want to thank our sponsors. The Kennedy Twins' newest book, Jefferson Davis, The High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government. Jefferson Davis' High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government is about how Jefferson Davis was a leader to the high road to emancipation. He looked for a day in which slaves would be able to participate and live in society. He did more, though, than advocate for this high road to emancipation. He practiced his beliefs in the ultimate emancipation of Southern slaves. Many of his former slaves lived for prosperity and their testimony about their former master, who prepared them to be a self-sustaining member of society. You can get the Kennedy Twins' newest book, Jefferson Davis, High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government, at www.kennedytwins.com and most online bookstores. Again, we want to thank the Kennedy Twins for sponsoring tonight's Pop-Tart break, and we will see you guys shortly after the break.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
All right, we want to thank again the Kennedy Twins' newest book, Jefferson Davis, High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government, for sponsoring tonight's Pop-Tart break. You can get Jefferson Davis, High Road to Emancipation and Constitutional Government at www.kennedytwins.com and most online bookstores. Link in the chat. All right, I always love that video. It always brings me such lovely joy. I'm getting called out in the chat. I do deserve that. Yeah, I do deserve that. I'm going to put this comment up. You know, as an observer, I'm very impressed with what the SCV has accomplished in recent years. I'm seeing a lot of great things and looking forward to becoming a member in the future. Al, we can't wait to have you. Seeing the brotherhood grow, and I mean that. We are family here. And when I first learned about the homecoming and pilgrimage, it really is a homecoming. It's like a family reunion. You know, we're doing so much business during the reunion Sometimes, you don't get to visit with people. I know I have turned into someone that runs around division and national reunion with my head cut off. I look like a chicken. I'm just blowing and going. And so it's good to sit back and relax and, visit with your fellow Southern brothers and sisters. I have a great time there every year. I always get to, I just love the SCV. I tell people all the time, one of my dream jobs would be if I could work on the farm and also work for the SCV, because I just love this organization. I love it with all my heart. And I truly believe in what we're doing. And I mean, the love I have for this place is unmatched. Let's see here. Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshier says that the average amount of time spent inside the museum is nearly 2 hours. They're reading all the panels, and they're generally leaving happy, saying how they didn't know this. That sounds like an awesome job. Commander, here, you didn't mention any names, but, I deserve it. They have 67 QR codes up in the museum and more to come. Commander Hill says a certain unnamed person is supposed to be writing one on Beauvoir. He is almost done writing it. My life picked up a pace recently out of nowhere, and I'm not making excuses. First off, I should have had that to you a while ago, Commander. But I will say it's nice that you are hitting me with it. I can take people calling me out on my mistakes. I think that's only one way you can grow. Now for it was a compliment, both of them, Commander. I was poking a little fun at you. Beauvoir plans to follow a similar route with the QR codes. The executive director for Beauvoir, Jason Smith, is in the chat. I believe that was before your time, Jason, when I was asked to do that. But Beauvoir will have a QR code up at the museum soon. Someone has to write it. I'm almost done. I got a good bit of research from it too. It's going to be a nice one. Charles says I'm just doing my part. You are working for the SCV. I love SCV chat. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I try my best. And again, I just can't get enough of all this. It is why I come on your screens twice a week to talk about the SCV. It's why I try my best to go to SC events. It's why I try my best to get involved where I can. It's just because I love it. I can't get enough. It's truly my calling, if you will. I love the SCV, and man, if I could work for it, I would do it in a heartbeat, without question. Do you think a museum would be interested in something about Stone Mountain? I think they would be, Jude, but then again, that's not my call. I would contact Commander Jimmy Hill and Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshiers. They will be and Executive Director Adam Southern, of course, and talk to them about your idea. They would be happy to listen. I bet. I know any information is always great to have in the museum. And yes, I can't wait to see the QR codes at Beauvoir. And now going on to Beauvoir. Beauvoir had a very successful Confederate Memorial Day event Saturday. I was there, and I have to say it was an honor to be on the event committee for this, and of course to be get a more involved role at Beauvoir. I'm trying to find a way to say this without sounding, because I don't like patting myself on the back. It's overrated. But I got a chance to get more involved in Beauvoir this past weekend. I'll say it like that. And I'm extremely honored. It is the last home of the only president, Jefferson Davis, my president, his museum, his library, and it is a complete honor to get there and work with the great crew we have. My phone's blowing up. Apparently I have something very important to talk to someone about after the show. But I love Beauvoir. And so it was very honored to attend it. And we're going to end the show talking about this because I got a lot of cool pictures I want to show. Of course, this is a bit different than most of our news coverage because, again, I was there. Sadly, because of all the work I did have on my plate, I wasn't able to live stream SCV chat like I wanted to. Sometimes things like that come up. I do deeply apologize. I wish I could have live streamed it. Maybe next year. I plan to set more time aside next year. I should have probably stayed at the property a bit longer Friday instead of trying to turn in a bit early. But I'll try my best to make sure we can get it live next year. Of course, I'm just going to be going through the pictures. This is the Confederate Heritage Month proclamation from the state of Mississippi this year, signed by our governor. But great to see that. I'm glad that we had that big picture there. It's always good to just see that. It brings me joy. Has Mississippi held its division reunion yet? No, sir. That will be June 10th. I will be in attendance. I will be, of course, helping GCB. I'm also involved a bit in helping the event. The 5th Brigade is hosting it. I'm in the 5th Brigade. Let's see here. Someone in the chat, Mr. Bryan, said that someone should make documentaries about the true history of the South and the war between the states. Make sure it's done accurately and backed up with true and credible sources. It would be a great way it'd be great to put that on multiple social media outlets so we can spread the truth even farther and educate people and children. Stay tuned. I know we talked about it a while ago that we're doing something around documentaries. All I can say is stay tuned. Jude says the next would be getting the next victory would be getting Mississippi's true state flag back. I could not agree more. That is a very uphill fight for us, sadly, right now. The next picture, I wish I had a better picture of him, but this gentleman came all the way from Nigeria to come to our event. Not just to come to our event, of course. He wanted to come to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, but he was invited to come to our event, and he said he had a great time, and I'm glad he did. I'm very happy he was able to come and attend and hear just a phenomenal speech. I'm going to segue from the Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman Charles Lee Ray. Charles, sir, I didn't say it enough in my posts. I didn't say it enough to you personally, sir, but you did an outstanding job. If you have not heard the councilman speak, you need to make sure you attend whatever event they have the guest speaker being Charles Lee Ray. Let me tell you, it is absolutely phenomenal. And I couldn't have wished for a better speaker for this event because it was a very important day for us. And so, sir, again, Councilman, I thank you. And thank you for your dedication to the cause, sir. And that's all I'll say about that. All right. Let's see here. Charles always has a great bow tie. It is phenomenal. He really does. He has a bow tie game. I knew that was coming. The Lone Ranger, past Commander Chief Chuck Michael, said Louisiana are full of natural good speakers. Y'all got some good ones. Mississippi people, we just ramble like tonight. We just ramble and ramble. Commander Gremlin, I would love to see a few of those links. Maybe if I can find a couple of them. I would love to find them for multiple reasons that I can't get into at the moment. But I will just say again, stay tuned. We got a lot of great things coming for y'all soon. Let's see here. Councilman Charles Lee Ray says it was his pleasure and thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Again, you did an outstanding job. I've heard a lot of speakers, and I have to say you are at the top of the list, sir. So again, thank you for coming. It was an honor, and I hope again to see you very, very soon. Of course, before that, we had our outside luncheon, which was very successful. Again, we want to thank the Rankin Grays camp for providing the food for us. They did an outstanding job. So I'm told. Sadly, I didn't get to eat any of it. I was busy doing work all day, but good work. Let's see here. Trying to find. Oh, I didn't upload his picture. I was gonna give GCB some poking. Of course, the Mississippi Division Commander Connor Bond attended the event and gave a pretty good speech himself. Sadly, I don't have a picture of him at the podium because I was going to poke some fun at him. He dodged a bullet, or maybe I dodged a bullet. Some excellent chow and a great dinner on the grounds. And a lot of good folk. Yeah, we had a great crowd. We really did. Let's see here. If let me go back to this. This was, of course, our reenactors. We can't thank them enough. And of course, Jack played the bugle very beautifully. He did a great job. He only had a month to learn what we asked him to play at the event, and he knocked it out of the ballpark. And of course, the Sam Davis camp, they had a lot of their living historians there, and they did a great job with the volley. And of course, here's our crowd. We had a huge crowd. We had a very nice crowd. We were stacked full at Beauvoir. And I mean, there's nothing better that you could wish for than a successful event like that. And so we want to thank everybody that attended, and we hope to see you again next year. And oh no, there's the picture of GCB. It took me a minute. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I'm glad I found that. Some of my pictures, for some reason, I guess it was because I had a lot of pictures saved up for tonight's episode, didn't load. But there are a couple of beautiful shots of Beauvoir that I wanted to share, and I'll probably post on the page afterwards. They're very beautiful shots. After the service that night, we all stayed on the property, of course, cleaning and cleaning, packing up all the stuff we set up for there, and it was beautiful. The property is just breathtaking, especially the cemetery and the tomb of the unknown Confederate soldier. I got emotional, and there's a concert happening next door to us, and out of nowhere, the guy started singing Dixie, and it kind of shocked us all for a second, and then we just let Dixie play in the background in absolute silence. And a moment I'll never forget. Charles says he looks like Forrest Gump. We do. One of your pictures, you look like we photoshopped you in, and we don't really know why you look like that, but you look like we very cheaply photoshopped you in. Well, Councilman, it could be worse. You could be named Forrest around the time that movie came out and be in college. That was not fun, apparently, for someone. But here's a couple beautiful pictures. That's an arch at Beauvoir we have here. I believe donated by the UDC, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong off the top of my head, though. Absolutely beautiful property. And, of course, here's the tomb of the unknown Confederate soldier. And, again, this was taken, and it is probably my favorite shot we took that night. It was just breathtaking. And, again, it was one of those things that it felt like time slowed down, and you just lived in the moment. And, again, there's very few things that top that for me. Of course, at the top of my list will probably forever be the fact that I was able to be the final escort for General Forrest at his reinterment. That was a moment in time for me, and a moment that will always stick to me. That one I don't think will ever be beat, but this one, it ranked up there. Let me tell you, it was outstanding. Dixie playing in the background. It was beautiful. It was a great night. Miss Linda, Gigi Gramlin in the chat, good to see you, and I miss you so much as well. I hope to see you May 6th. I will not be at Georgia this weekend, sadly. I have a camp obligation, which I'm not let me rephrase that. I'm not sad that I'm going to the camp event, but I do wish there was a way that I could somehow be at two places at once, if that makes sense. Because both are great events that we're going to be having. But sadly, there's only one of me, and I'm a camp officer, and I needed to be there anyway, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Oh, I hate to hear that, Commander. We'll see each other soon, though. We'll see each other soon. We'll make sure. Yeah, we'll do Chat of Wars then. If y'all win one, we'll bring it to you for national. All right, everybody. It is about that time. Jude, that's Stonewall is the only person that can be in two places at once. Just ask the Yankees. You can blame him. I really wish I had a 10 brother just so I can be at two places at once. Commander, for everybody involved, I don't think any of us will ever forget it. And, you know, again, it was the deepest honor of my life to be just asked to do anything. And it is something I talked about earlier, how I don't like to brag, but I will brag about the fact that I escorted General Forrest to his final resting place. I will always brag about that. I got the honor of standing guard for him during the visitation, and I got the honor of walking him down to his final resting place. And again, that's just I get chills just thinking about it. It's a fantastic event, and I will forever brag about that. I won't be humble about that one. That's just too cool. All right, everybody. Well, it's been good talking to y'all. We hope to see everybody Monday, as I believe it is time for another. Let's look at the schedule. Yes, Heroes of Our Heroes, May 1st. I have no idea who we're talking about off the top of my head. I think it's George Washington. So make sure you come and watch that. George Washington, of course, is another man you can look at upon highly for an example that he set. And then, of course, we'll have, we'll have Commander's Comments next Thursday as well. So make sure that you like the video, you subscribe if you're on YouTube, like it and follow us if you're on Facebook, and share this out. Share it out. Let's get the news out there so people know about the events that are going on. And I guess at that point, I will see y'all Monday. That's not it. There we go. And I asked that you remember, if you are a camper division that would like to talk about a project live on Look Around the Confederation, please email us at scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com. And remember, now April's about to be over with. We're going to get a good bit of news following April events, but now we're going to start bringing a bit more guests on. So if you're someone I've talked about in the past coming on, you know who you are. Please email us at scvyouthoutreach, and we'll start getting a date nailed down, and you can finally come on. Bless your heart. Thank you for being patient and sticking with me through April. And please make sure to send your news, your pictures, short videos, and write-ups to scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com, and you'll be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And remember, my friends, to stay Southern. Good night, everybody.